Pakistan has a new Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif. Some people know him, some do not, others may not even care. How does it matter who rules Pakistan? The country is never going to change anyway. That's the prevailing argument. But for a moment, let's put the skepticism aside and get to know who this man really is. What's his story? What are his political views? How different is he from Imran Khan? And what changes, if any, could he bring to the India-Pakistan relationship? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. This story begins in 1951. On September 23rd that year, Shehbaz was born to the prestigious Sharif family, a Punjabi-speaking Kashmiri family based in Lahore. His father was Muhammad Sharif, an upper-middle-class businessman who belonged to the Anantnag district in Kashmir. His mother was also from India. She came from Pulwama. After marriage, they went to Amritsar. After the partition of India, they moved to Lahore. Shehbaz was their second son. The first one was Nawaz Sharif, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, who's currently in London escaping a corruption probe. And the third son was Abbas Sharif, a Tablighi Jamaat missionary. He passed away in 2013. Like most politicians in Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif also grew up in the lap of wealth. He lived in the palatial Jati Umrah residence, named after his ancestral village near Amritsar. It's a sprawling estate spread over 200 acres. The Punjab government has accused the Sharif family of illegally occupying this land. Shehbaz Sharif got his early education from St. Anthony's High School in Lahore. He then went to the Government College University and got a degree in Bachelor of Arts. It was during his time here that he also developed an interest in poetry, something that he often puts to use at his rallies. We'll get there in a bit. First, his profile. Shehbaz Sharif has lived quite a colourful life. He's been married 5 times and divorced thrice. At present, he has 2 wives, which has also led to a debate on who will be the first lady. Sharif's first wedding was at the age of 23. He married Begum Nusrat Shehbaz. The couple had 4 children. In 1993, he married Alia Honey, an emerging model. There's a bridge in Lahore named after her, the Honey Bridge. It was apparently built by Shehbaz Sharif to cut the travel time to his wife's residence. Unfortunately, the marriage did not last, but the bridge is still there with the same name. The same year, 1993, Shehbaz Sharif got married for the 3rd time to Nilofer Khosa, the sister of Tariq Khosa, the then DG of Pakistan's Federal Investigation Agency. Well, that too did not last. Then in 2003, he secretly married Tehmeena Durrani, a Pakistani author, activist and socialite. The couple are still together, we're told, and that did not stop him, though, from getting married again. The 5th time. In 2012, at the age of 60, he tied the knot with Kulsum Hai. The couple got divorced within a few years. Shehbaz Sharif's professional life is equally interesting. After graduation, he joined the family business. What was this business? Steel production and mining. The Sharif family owned the Ittifaq Group, one of the biggest steel companies in Pakistan. Also the family's corruption foundry. It did not just mold and shape steel, it also molded the political careers of both the brothers. The growth of this company was financed by sweetheart deals, deals awarded to them by Pakistan's rulers like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and General Zia-ul Haq. Together, they gave the family $200 million. This was in unsecured loans from Pakistan's nationalized banks. To put it simply, they stole public funds to help the Ittifaq Group. A 1999 report said that 70% of all bad loans in Pakistan at that time could be traced back to the Sharif family. The Supreme Court of Pakistan used terms like the Godfather and Sicilian Mafia for the Sharifs. It said the family rose to prominence by combining corruption and political power. The brothers used their ill-gotten money to enter politics then. In 1976, Nawaz Sharif joined the Pakistan Muslim League. 10 years later, he became the Chief Minister of Punjab. Soon, Shehbaz Sharif also left the family business and ventured into politics. In 1988, he contested for the Punjab National Assembly and he won. Critics said he got elected because of the family's goodwill. In 1993, he was re-elected. And in the next election, 1997, he became the Chief Minister of Punjab. Now, during his stint as CM, he was praised for his good governance, for his focus on healthcare, education, agriculture, industrial sectors. He undertook several development projects in Lahore. He also launched a crackdown on criminals and extremists. Many in Pakistan view Shehbaz Sharif as the man who built today's Lahore, one of Pakistan's most developed cities. But Sharif's track record is not clean. In 1999, he was accused of ordering the extrajudicial killing of 5 young men. He refuted the allegations, called them politically motivated. Last we checked, the case was still on in court. The same year, 1999, Shehbaz Sharif and his family had to flee Pakistan. His brother was deposed in a coup by Parvez Musharraf and put in jail. Shehbaz Sharif was also removed from the chief minister's post and put behind bars. For 2 years, they remained in jail. They were released only after Riyadh's intervention. Then Saudi King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz brokered an agreement with General Musharraf. He gave the Sharif family sanctuary in Jeddah, and that's where they lived for at least 6 years. In 2007, they returned to Pakistan. Shehbaz got elected as Punjab's chief minister again. In 2013, he was re-elected for a third term, and in 2018, he was elected as a member of Pakistan's National Assembly. He served as the leader of opposition there until last week. Now, the question is, what made this man politically so successful? What made the people of Pakistan elect him again and again? Was it just the family name, or is there more to him? Pakistani analysts say that his success has less to do with his name and more to do with his political performance. In Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif is seen as a diligent politician, a hardcore realist, and a matter-of-fact administrator, someone who delivers on his promises no matter how tough the tasks might be. Like I said, as Chief Minister of Punjab, he overhauled the province's infrastructure. He invested heavily in the transportation systems, built several intercity roads and highways, even initiated the first metro line in Lahore. And this was in stark contrast to his brother, who was famous for pulling crowds, not so much for his performance. Shehbaz Sharif, on the other hand, developed a reputation for capability, for his practical skills in implementing policies, and for his ambitious development projects. He was also a gifted orator. At his rallies, he could sway crowds with Urdu verses, quote stories of famous Sufi scholars, and on some occasions he would even knock off microphones. You have to watch this. Well, some of what he said was absurd, but full marks for passion. That's what moved the crowds. After his brother fled Pakistan, Shehbaz became the face of their party, PMLN, the leader of opposition in parliament. His ties with the Pakistan army cemented his authority further. While his brother was always at war with the general, Shehbaz Sharif maintained cordial ties. At the same time, he was not beholden to the army, as Imran Khan was. He never antagonized the generals, neither did he appease them, never blamed them for undue interference, neither did he deny their control over the civilian leadership. He has always maintained that the civilian military authorities have no choice but to work together. In other words, he is in favor of the current hybrid regime. He'll be tested now. What about his views on India? They're more or less the same as others, but he's not as hawkish as his predecessor. As the Chief Minister of Punjab, a province located along India's border, he has often pushed for peace between the two countries. A businessman by profession, he's in favor of improving trade ties with India and promoting collaborative ventures. In fact, in 2013, Shehbaz Sharif paid a visit to India. He met the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. He travelled to his ancestral village in the state of Punjab. He held meetings with the state's Chief Minister, Prakash Singh Badal. He called for peaceful dialogue between the two countries. Now, given his track record, New Delhi is cautiously optimistic that with Shehbaz Sharif in power, India-Pakistan ties could improve. At the same time, India knows that no matter who's in power in Pakistan, it's the cantonments of Quetta and Rawalpindi that determine what the civilian leadership ought to do. So there's every reason to believe that at least on this count, the Shehbaz Sharif government will bring more of the same.